Salutations, RP fam. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It's Thursday, which means I have defenses and tight ends coming at you in this video. I'm going to go over the top 15 options for each of them to help bring you all the latest information that you will need to make the best decisions possible. And that way you can crush your opponents and go get a crucial win in week 14. Make sure you drop any start-sit questions, any trades, if those are still going on for you in your leagues. Drop those down below because I love to be able to help you guys out. The engagement is one of the main reasons I make this content. And by talking back and forth, we both get better, and that is what it is all about. Make sure you keep an eye out for all of my updated ranking videos on Saturday. I do those as shorts. So if you have 5 extra minutes over the weekend, you can check those out real quick. Drop a like while you're there if you would not mind, and that'll give you my thoughts as we hear new information and updates throughout the middle of the week. If you find yourself enjoying the content here, please consider dropping a like on the video. It helps spread the channel to those who maybe have not seen it yet. And if you've been here before, or if it's your first time, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. You'll help us move to our new goal of 1,000 subscribers. We just surpassed 500. We want to keep that momentum moving. And with all that out of the way, let's hop into week 14's tight end rankings. In at the top spot is Travis Kelce once again, although he has come back down to earth with 113 yards and only 1 touchdown in his last 2 games. Mahomes is not going to let him go 3 straight without exploding, so all you can do is hope that you're not playing against him this week. TJ Hockenson is my new number 2 at the top of tier 2, and a couple things are the reason for it. He gets Detroit this week. You know that matchup is a good one, and it's also got a revenge factor built in. I think Minnesota thanks Detroit for sending Hawk their way by giving him a monster opportunity share. At 3, it is Pat Freiermuth, who caught just 3 balls last week but made the most of them. He's now had 75 yards or more 5 times this season. Friar Tuck is due for a score, and there is a decent chance that it comes this week against the Ravens. Speaking of the Ravens, Mark Andrews is next at 4. He should still be a great option even with the loss of Lamar, but there is no doubt that this shrinks his ceiling. Andrews has not hit double-digit fantasy points since back in week number 6, but the volume should help him get there against the Steelers. Dalton Schultz rounds out my top 5. He's at the top of tier number 3, and he will continue to be a solid play in Dallas's high-powered attack. And even though his 6 looks did not amount to much against Indy, he did see multiple tries in the end zone, and he could not capitalize them. It is not what we wanted, but we still love to see him getting those chances. Gerald Everett is next at 6. He had a great game as expected against Las Vegas. He turned 6 targets into 80 yards and posted his best finish since back in week number 7. The Dolphins give up the 3rd most points per game to the position, so I expect a solid encore performance. George Kittle falls a bit. He is here at number 7. He's lacked both opportunity and production in 3 out of his last 4 games, and there is a reason for pessimism now with Brock Purdy at the helm. I want to believe that his talent is enough, but sooner rather than later, we need to see it. To tier 4, and it is Greg Dulcich who leads it off. He paid off my faith in him last week with a monster 6-catch, 85-yard day against the Ravens. Denver is going to need to go to the air in order to keep up with Kansas City, and it is clear that Russell Wilson is comfortable and likes to look Dulcich's way. Evan Engram is at 9. He bounced back against Detroit to post his first top 5 finish since way back in week number 8. He has an awesome matchup here against the Titans, who can't seem to stop anybody through the air as of late, so I think that Engram is a solid play at a shallow position. At the top of tier number 5 is Foster Moreau. He will remain a solid option as long as Darren Waller is out. But if he does return this week, we will have to look elsewhere. The lack of looks for Moreau is concerning, but so is LA's defense right now. I'm going to buy this Raiders offense and hope he can score for the 3rd time in 5 games. Tyler Higbee is up next. He should be able to take advantage of this smash matchup, but nothing is assured in the Rams offense right now. Higbee is averaging 7 targets per in his last 3, and that is enough to warrant a start. My last tight end one for week 14 is Hunter Henry, who is a great matchup play against the Arizona Cardinals because they have the 31st ranked defense against tight ends. No one's allowed more receiving yards, no one's allowed more touchdowns to tight ends than Arizona, and he's seen 5 targets in 2 straight, so the volume is enough to give him a go. Tier 6 starts with Noah Fant. He gets Carolina. He's been able to put up 34 yards or more in 4 straight games, and he offers a better than expected floor because of it. His 18 targets in that span is enough to have him in your lineups, even in this difficult matchup with the Panthers. Dawson Knox is at 14. I think he's worth a look if you are desperate because the Bills can score in bunches on anybody. He's only seen 3 looks over the last 2 weeks, but in the prior 2 to that, he had 13. So he might be due for some more love from Josh Allen. Daniel Bellinger is my last tight end that I'm looking at. He caught all 5 of his targets in his first game back from injury since week number 7. And prior to that injury, he had scored in half of his games, which is more than you can ask for just about anybody at the tight end position this deep in my rankings. A couple of guys who just missed the cut include Tyler Conklin, Oko, we're going to call him, against Jacksonville, and Mike Gesicki against the Chargers. Before we hop into defenses, great time to remind you to smash the like button if you are enjoying the content. Subscribe if you haven't already. That way you won't miss anything. And now let's hop into Week 14's defenses. Once again, at the top of my rankings are the Dallas Cowboys. They stand alone this week after an incredible performance against the Colts. And after watching what a terrible Browns defense just did to this Houston team, I am wondering if Dallas even needs to roll out their offense in order to outscore the Texans. Tier 2 starts with the Buffalo Bills. They get the Jets at home. And at 3, I have the Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Giants. The Kansas City Chiefs are all the way up at 4 in that matchup with Denver, and rounding out my top 5 are the San Francisco 49ers at home against Tampa Bay. This Niners defense has been a top 6 unit in 3 straight games, giving up a total of 27 points and forcing 8 turnovers in that span. Tampa looks lifeless until late last week against New Orleans, so I am betting this Niners defense continues their streak of dominance. Kicking off tier number 3 are the Seattle Seahawks, who just showed us last week that they can be a winner in plus matchups, and that is exactly what this Panthers team is. Sam Darnold can see ghosts at any time, and he is only going to be more possible to do that in front of a crazy Seattle crowd. At 7 are the Baltimore Ravens on the road against Pittsburgh, and at 8 I have the Tampa Bay Bucs against San Francisco. To tier 4 at the top is the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to LA. The Rams offense can't seem to move the ball against anybody. And rounding out my top 10, I have the New England Patriots traveling to Arizona. It may be hard to trust them after putting up a total of 6 fantasy points over their last 2 weeks. But hear me out on this. It is clear the Cardinals offense has not quite figured it out, and they are also beyond terrible at home. So I believe New England gets a top 10 finish here. To tier 5, the Pittsburgh Steelers kick it off. They're at 11 in a home matchup with Baltimore. And at 12, I have the Tennessee Titans at home against the Jags. 13 is the Cincinnati Bengals. They are at home against Cleveland. And after last week's performance from Deshaun Watson, there is reason for optimism for Cincinnati's defense. The Bengals are great at stopping the pass, so if Watson cannot find his groove, Cincy can do enough to hit for owners. My final tier is number 6, and the Arizona Cardinals are the first team there against New England at home, and then the Jets getting Buffalo on the road is my final defense for week 14. They have one of the best secondaries in the NFL, so I think they can make it tough enough on Josh Allen to at least slow him down and keep the score kinda low-ish. The Jets have 3 top 8 finishes in the last 4 weeks, and one of those was against the Bills back in week number 9. Once again, reason for optimism. And that is everything I got for you for today's video. Hope you enjoyed the content. Please consider liking the video if you did, and make sure you drop your questions and your comments down below. I want to be able to help you out. If you haven't already done it, subscribe to the channel if you would not mind. This is Relentless Press. I am your host, Abraham Opatz, and I will see you